So he wants to turn at the platform's edge, and he wants to turn at the world's edge. Okay, so basically what that's going to look like is our guys are, when they get to the edge of the platform, they turn around, and if they get to the edge of the world, they turn around. Okay, so that's what we're trying to accomplish. Let's take a look at it. All right, so write this down. The slash slash is a Boolean operator that means or. Okay, so it's going to either return both of the conditions that are true, or run if it will if either or both of the conditions are true, it will run the code in brackets. Let's take a look and see what that's going to look like. So we're going to go into our bad guy. My bad guy is called Monster. Okay, so let's take a look at some stuff here. So we're going to go up here, and we're going to go to the act method, and we have this thing called turn at world edge. Okay, so let's see what that's going to look like. Okay, so basically it says if your get x is less than 10. So basically, if your character is like, there's a 0x, if he's anywhere in that section over at the edge, then we're going to reverse his h speed. Or, so here's our or if we have to get the world's edge. Now here's the deal, look, the x always starts over here at 0, right? And then, but we don't know how wide the world is, right? Because one world's wider than the other. So we say, hey, if he's over here, anywhere from 0 to 9, then he needs to switch directions because he's got over here towards the edge. Now, on the other hand, if he gets over here, well, how big is this? Well, we have to get the world and get its width, and then it's anywhere in this location. Okay, so if it's too far to the left, or we have to get the world's width minus 10 to any too far to the right, then we're going to switch it. So super easy. Okay, take these notes. Okay, so now we're going to look at turn at platform edge and see what that looks like. All right, so if we go back up to the act method, we have this other one. It's called turn at platform edge. So it's always going to see if that's doing that. So let's just press Control F, find that. Okay, now this one's a little bit tricky. Now, so here is turn at platform edge. Okay, so this one's a little bit, take these notes, everything in red, by the way. So a local variable is just a little box that we can store stuff in temporarily. Okay, so let's take a look at how we're using this. So look at the code. So it says actor ground. So we're making a local variable called ground. We have a little box. The only thing that can go into it is any actor. Now what are we looking for? So we have this method here that gets any object at an offset. And there's two offsets. So there's the distance to the edge of my body going on the x coordinate, and then the distance to my feet, and it has to be of type platform. Okay, well, what does that mean? Okay, so basically it means our guy is looking for an object that is get his width. Okay, so you're going to take his width divided by 2 and get that, and then you're going to get the distance to his feet. And so you're basically going to say, hey, is there any platform right there? Because if there is, keep going. But if in this case there's no platform there, it means he's at the edge, and it's time for him to turn around and switch directions. Okay. By the way, let's take a look at a thing. Let's go back up here. Let's look at one thing real quick. So if you look at the very top, you have these things. This is an instance variable. Distance to my feet equals his sprite height divided by 2. We have this thing, sprite height equals get his image height, and then we have the same thing here, the distance to the edge of the body. So these are variables that we have set up. All right, let's go back down and take a look at this. Okay, so all right, so let's go back and look at the code. So we have a box named ground. We get an object we're looking over a little bit to the right. We're looking down to the feet. It has to be a platform. And if we find one, we stick it in the box. Okay, now this says if the ground is equal to null. Okay, well, ground is our box. Null means empty. So if our box is empty, that means we didn't touch we don't have a platform underneath us, and it's time for us to change our speed. Okay, now take a look at this. The distance to the edge of my body, we're multiplying it by -1 because what's going to happen is, hey, look, there's no platform under this guy. He's going to switch direction, and now, does he need to be looking over here for a platform? Nope, he needs to be looking over here. So we're reversing the distance to the edge of his body. So instead of looking from the center this way, we're looking to the center this way. Okay? All right, so there's the code. You can take a look at all. There's the code. You can use that stuff. And next time we're going to go on to the next part. All right, good work.